What happened to Abba? Why did they split? What was the reason? They never officially split up, but their last recording as a group was in 1982. I haven't researched the details much, but I guess there were a number of reasons. One was personal tensions within the group, including the 2 divorces. It's been said that these tensions were reflected in the more downbeat and melancholy lyrics of some of their later songs, in contrast to the joyfulness of songs like Waterloo and Dancing Queen. Another reason may have been that they were past their cultural sell-by date. They were very much a group of the 1970s. It was only when sufficient time had gone by that they were rediscovered in the 1990s during a wave of 1970s nostalgia. Update May 2018. I look like Abba recently got back together to record a few compositions to be released in December 2018. I look forward to hearing about their even in fairly early interviews. Bjorn and Benny were saying that Abba would unlikely be around for too long. It has to be taken into account that Abba was not wet behind the ears teenagers when their Eurovision triumph happened. 3 were already in their late 20s and even Agnetha was 24. They had all had varying levels of success in their native land going back into the mid-1960s. They were a level-headed bunch and always stated that they wouldn't drag it out. That when the fun and motivation was no longer there, they'd walk away. The 2 divorces surely did bring that about earlier than anticipated. From 2 loving couples to 4 individuals, the dynamics of the group had changed. Benny and Bjorn also had long-held ambitions in musical theatre, what with their The Girl with the Golden Hair effort performed during Abba's 1977 tours and later songs too. Frida and Agnetha too likely relished the opportunity to be solo artists once again. Maybe they really were sincere in their statements that Abba is on a break. They'd all do their own thing and after a couple of years, they'd reconvene bursting with new ideas and energy. But it was 3 years after the Visitors album before the music from Chess was recorded and released. Another year and a half till the stage production premiered. By then the girls had released follow-up albums and were heading for long periods out of the limelight. The mid-1980s. Band Aid and Live Aid. Music groups from the 60s and 70s reformed, some begrudgingly, for charity. Does anyone even recall that the biggest pop phenomenon of the previous decade was not involved and more so, that nobody seemed to even mention it? Dead, buried and forgotten, no doubt was hoped by a few scribes. Would be another 7 years before people realized once again just how good that band was. I guess if they were ever going to reunite, the mid to late 90s would have been the time. But the male half was still working on other projects and the female half suffered deep, personal tragedies at that time. Maybe a reunion just wasn't meant to be and maybe it was ultimately better that way worked the collective magic that produced such great hits. The personal domestic stuff just underpinned the breakup and the end of Abba as we knew them. Their demise produced enough sentimentality to keep the Abba brand at the forefront of the mind of a whole generation. Now they're returning and will no doubt touch the heartstrings of millions who live in the past and don't want to move on. Long before Abba split up, they knew that eventually, it would not be enjoyable to work on the music of theirs, and so they decided that when it stopped being fun, they would end it. After the release of The Visitors, they took a small break, and then reconvened in 1982 to start writing again and record. However, they were unable to write much and only ended up with a couple of new songs. So, they decided to instead release a new greatest hits album of the past 10 years with those new songs included in it. Even with the divorces between the members, they still remained friends, and this is why they were able to release music after. Although they never announced the split, they did in effect break up. Bjorn and Benny continued the songwriting that they had done since before Abba and ended up writing the music and lyrics for the musical Chess, and the concept album made from the music would spawn a top 10 hit in the US, One Night in Bangkok. Both Frida and Agnetha went into solo singing careers, with Agnetha having some top 4. So this was the end for Abba, but they may be gone but their music lives on. The group will always remain a part of rock and roll history.